Session ended, and what a session it was. 105 days of lots of these Zoom meetings, but we got a lot done. I'm really proud of the work that we did together, really working for the people of Washington. I think one of the highlights was really starting to do the serious work of fixing our upside down tax system. We funded the Working Families Tax Credit to make sure that working families among us can get some of their hard-earned money back from the government. That's the first time that's been funded. So that's a huge win for working families. And then we also instituted the capital gains tax. People are concerned that if they sell their home, that they'll have to pay a capital gains tax. That is simply not true. Real estate is exempt. Selling your family business is exempt. Selling your family farm, if you've been working for generations on the family farm and finally ready to retire, that's exempt, as well as lots of other things. And we will certainly continue to get that message across. Really, the thing that you're going to be paying for is if you made, again, over $250,000 a year selling stocks or bonds, or you found a Picasso in your attic, those are going to be subject to this 7% capital gains tax. It's a small tax that's going to only affect about 7,000 Washingtonians, but it's going to bring in much needed revenue into the state. And we've really focused that revenue to go to childcare, which is really one of the big drags on our economy. Families, especially working women, especially single moms, sometimes can't enter the workforce because childcare is either too expensive or they just can't find it in their community. So we're using that money to go to childcare to really help strengthen the basis of our economy. So super excited that we were able to get that through on literally the last day of the session. We passed the low carbon fuel standards and cap and invest program to really put a price on carbon and make Washington really a national leader in taking on climate change. Again, these were tough, well thought out bills. And I just give huge credit to my good friend and colleague, Joe Fitzgibbon, down in the 34th. He's chair of the Environment Committee, and he worked nonstop for probably the last week of session to make sure that these bills got across the aisle. The low carbon fuel standards, for example, that's going to create great jobs in Washington. We're going to be able to create these low carbon fuels right here, sell them here in Washington, create jobs in a lot of our rural economies. It's a great win for the environment, and again, a great win for our rural economies. I'm chairing the Housing, Human Services, and Veterans Committee. This is the first year we've formed this committee because we've heard from our constituents. We've heard from all of you about how sad it is to see so many people living unsheltered, to see the tents on the side of the highways, to see people living in parks. We hear it. We see the same thing. So we made historic investments. We're investing $1.7 billion in this biennium into housing and homelessness. And we also passed some really important legislation to keep people from getting into homelessness in the first place. Might sound kind of obvious, but the number one reason for homelessness is people getting evicted. So we passed eviction reform from my good friend, Representative Nicole Macri, and that's really going to protect tenants. So the landlords just can't evict you just on a whim. They need a good reason to uproot you from your home. And maybe it's non-payment of rent, maybe there's some illegal behavior going on. Those are perfectly legitimate reasons to ask somebody to leave. But we want to make sure that tenants have those protections. Washington is going to be the first state in the country that gives especially low-income tenants a right to counsel when it comes to eviction court. So we will have an attorney for these low-income families that are facing eviction, so we can balance that power dynamic between the landlord and this family that might be facing eviction and, again, might be facing homelessness. So those were two huge wins, as well as the budget impacts that we're going to invest into every corner of the state, making sure that we're building housing, making sure that we're getting people the services that they need to make sure that they can be strong members of the community and really have a safe place to live. I think 1 in 3 people in Snohomish County have at least the first dose. I was able to get my second dose just a couple of weeks ago, so I'm fully vaccinated, and boy, what a feeling that is. I'm going to be able to go visit my mom and give her a big hug because she's fully vaccinated as well. And so we're just asking people to go online and get those vaccinations. It's so important that we protect all of those around us. The Snohomish County Health District is doing a great job of getting the word out, helping people navigate the system. So please look for something in your area, get that vaccine, keep wearing your mask, keep washing your hands. We can get through this. We're almost there, but we've got to make this final push.